Assalamu alaikum and welcome to a new lesson in the Thuluth script. I know I have been away for a while, but I was genuinely busy for a few months now. But yeah, hopefully we are back on it, and it is best to give the last lesson in the Thuluth script when we talked about having the tarakib or the jelly, so that we kind of give an overarching idea about the thuluth, and in the future we might get back to it and give more examples or more knowledge on it. So in today's lesson we are going to talk about tarakib or jelly. So this type of thuluth is basically made to give an artistic representation of the statement that we are building, or the piece of art that we are creating. So we kind of make it complicated but simple at the same time. It is interesting, intriguing. You try to connect the words, try to figure out what's written. It has to be clear and subtle at the same time. Like you shouldn't be able to figure out the moment you look at it, but it shouldn't be so hard or too hard for you to read, because what's the point of writing something that at the end of the day you cannot guess what it is? A famous example of tarakib you can find in the Holy Quran. The outside decoration of the Quran, you will find the famous Al-Quran Al-Kareem written in this way. Basically, you've got a circle shape, and you will have, I'm just going to put the general idea because I can't really exactly remember how it's written. I think this is this one, and it goes down with a ra, and I forgot where the alif goes, but I assume it goes up to here. And then you've got the noon down here to continue the circle of the edge of the circle, and then you have Al-Kareem. So these alifs, out of memory, I remember that they go 1, 2, 3, and 4. The lam, then the Kareem sort of brings back the circle like this. Then you have the ra, then the ya and mim that close it. I forgot what comes here. But yeah, this is an example of thuluth in tarakib. This is what we're gonna talk about today. So to keep things simple, few rules you have to follow. You need a shape. In this case, it is a circle. You need a script. In this case, it is thuluth. And you need a balance between making things artistic and beautiful and having the ability to read them. So it shouldn't be too complicated for people to read, but at the same time it shouldn't look dull or unbalanced. So ready to kick in and learn something today, hopefully? We're gonna start with a sentence. So before I started this, while I was preparing for the lesson, I thought, well, we might as well go for al-hubbu, love, min shiyam al-karam, is an act of generosity. So here we've got few good letters to practice, and this will give us some what do you call it, options to explore, because in the thuluth you've got several options for each one of these letters, and it's up to you to decide how you're going to build your art piece. At the same time, you shouldn't force it or try and make it quick. So al-ha here, the letter ha, you've got several shapes for it. You either can use it connected to the top of the lam, or next to the lam, The hat itself could be a normal hat like here, or you can draw the body of the hat then connect to the bat. So you've got several options to choose from. Based on this, it is preferable for you to write these sentences in the thuluth, because while learning you might forget a shape, you might kind of think that you're using the correct and the most beautiful form of the letter. Meanwhile, there is another one that could be prettier. So what you're going to do is have a line, and all this is just design phase. You're not committing to anything here. It is just all brainstorming. You can even change the sentence, but usually you chose this sentence before you even thought about making an art piece. So we're going to use a normal pen to try and write this sentence in Thuluth. You don't have to be accurate. It's just a representation of these letters to build an understanding on how they look like and what letters do you have, what compositions you can implement. So here we have Shiam. I will use this meme just out of curiosity. Al-Karam. You try as much as possible to have close skills with this pen, because you can. This is a bit big, but it is just an idea that will put you on the first steps. So we've got this meme we can use. That goes down. Now, first things to notice, you've got certain letters that go above and beyond. They just go really high. You've got ones that go below. So let's divide this into three sections. You've got high letters, the main line with mid letters, and things that go below the line with certain shape to them. This will put you on the track with regards to knowing what am I going to use to fill in gaps or long areas of the shape that I'm going to choose, which are the alif, lam, and kaf. Any letter that goes above the main line. The main line is your main focus. So these letters in this area are the ones that are going to fill the shape. You don't fill the shape with the decorations. You fill it with the thicknesses of these letters, balancing the negative space and the space that has letters in them. And the area down below here, this one, you're going to invest into the ends of these shapes to balance the bottom part of the shape. Now, when you construct your sentence like this, you know which word comes ahead of which word. It is no point of you having a tarakib like this and putting the word Kareem before Quran because you couldn't fit Al-Quran Al-Kareem correctly, or you couldn't fit the lam for Al-Kareem here, so you decide to put it before or after Al-Kareem. This will make so much confusion that the art piece will lose some of its integrity. Therefore, it is, in my opinion, very important to keep these words and letters in the correct order. You can, like, for example, if you want to figure out the order, the simplest order would be a straight line from right to left. This is how Arabic is written. You could divide it as in stages and levels of understanding. If you wrote something like this, Al-Hubbu min Shiyam Al-Karam, you see, you managed to put the words close to each other, but then you have to read Al-Hubbu min Al-Karam Shiyam, or would it read like Al-Hubbu min Shiyam Al-Karam? This is what I mean by having the correct, how do you call it, balancing feature of the sentence you are composing. So you could change this into Al-Hubbu and have the meme noon somewhere here, just to touch this, min, so al-hubbu min. Then you can come up here with shiyam, alif, lam, kaf, ra, and the meme could balance this area. So if you were to read this, al-hubbu min, because this is touching the ba, so it feels like this should be coming here, but then there's no word here, so you go back up, shiyam al-karam. Now this is going up with the text. If you wanted to do it the other way around, like we did here, but you would do, for example, al-hubbu, then you would go down rather than going up. Al-hubbu min, if you can't put it here, it has to go down, something like this. Then shiyam comes after it, then al-karam. In case you wanted to have something vertically arranged, top to bottom. And this would be used when you use lafz al-jalala, Allah. You don't put lafz al-jalala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, somewhere down. It has to be top center in any tarkib, composition. Or if it was really hard to have it top center, you move it right. If not, you move it left. You never have it low. So if you checked one of those verses of Quran, like Ayat al-Kursi, Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyu al-qayyum, you will find lafz al-jalala Allah written here, in this area. Then you get the rest of the verse down here, Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyu al-qayyum. Or if it was hard to put up here, or they didn't want to confuse the reader by reading the verse without the word lafz al-jalala, they just put it here in a bigger and more clear script or writing. Then they will put the remaining of the verse down there. So this is an important rule. Lafz al-jalala always comes up on top, right, left, but preferably centered. Back to this one over here. So if you wanted to do this one, but you did the following, al-hubbu min, and then you jumped from this word down to below al-hubbu, and you wrote shiyam al-karam, the reader would read min al-hubbi shiyam al-karam. 1, 2, it's just logical. So you try your best to construct the sentence that you want to write. Make sure, or try your hardest to not rearrange the words so that it doesn't change the meaning. I hope this is clear. Start with your sentence. Don't overcomplicate things when you're learning. Keep it simple. Mimic try this, Al-Quran Al-Kareem. You definitely seen it. It's definitely available for you. Start with this one. Mimic it. See what secrets and what design features were implemented in this one. You will notice that the noon, also in some, I think I've seen it in some examples, they use the other noon, the one that goes up and down, like the this shape, but I'm not sure if we talked about it. I don't believe so. But yeah, start mimicking it before you design whatever sentence you want to do. So you chose your sentence, you wrote it down, you know what letters you've got there. Don't think about the shapes yet. The shapes of the letters would fill the shape of the art piece that you want to create it. So for example, if one asked you to create a design for, I don't know, a contest, or just the sign that they want you to create, they might come to you and say, I want this sentence to be in a circle. Here you go, here's an idea. It is a wedding card. They want this to be in the center here, and they want the bride and the groom names written right and left to it, or to top and down, whatever arrangement you want it to be. They want this, for example, in Diwani Jali. So for example, Muhammad, Saleh, whatever, and Ruqayya, Ahmed, I'm just giving just names. So you filled this with Diwani Jali, right and left, and they want this sentence or whatever, or verse or words or sentence or quote to be written in here in a circular shape. Here's an idea. So you got your mold and you've got your sentence. Another idea would be they want a semicircle and they want you to create an art piece that would contain إنما يعمر مساجد الله من آمن بالله واليوم الآخر. It is a long verse for you to begin with, but this is how you get about using this type of thuluth. Again, start doing 2 words, for example. Do your name, do your family names, your friend names, start with 2, put 3, 4, build up on that, and experiment with all shapes. Avoid, what do you call them? Avoid inconsistent shapes, like try and use circles, rectangulars, ellipses. That's quite common. What else? I've never seen diamond. Diamond is usually done with Farsi, so avoid this. Half circles, try this. Squares, not much. You've got the I forgot what it's called, this shape. This is also quite famous. I think a hazelnut shape. Or it could also be this one. I think this is the hazelnut, which basically has a really wide base with a nice tip on the top there. So even it could be half ellipse, the top half of an ellipse, a dome shape. So stick to these shapes. So we said circle, rectangular, half circle, hazelnut, ellipse, whether it was vertical or horizontal, triangle. I've never seen something in a triangle, although I got limited experience and exposure to Thuluth, the jelly. So yeah, now I prepared for us today a circle and the Al-Hubbu min Shiyam al-Karam sentence. For this one, I started by doing a draft or a trial that mimicked Al-Quran al-Kareem, the way it's written. So I had my circle here, and I started with the alif from Al-Hubbu, far right, simple, easy, basic. Now I managed to give this shape. Then I did the lam and the ha. Now these details you will do later, scaling and stuff. Now if I did the ha this way and closed it here, I'm stuck with a massive space down below, which if I filled with mina, it will force me to put shiyam up here. And the reader might confuse it. They might go Al-Hubbu Shiyam Al-Karam Min, or Al-Hubbu Shiyam Min Al-Karam. I didn't want them to go into this confusion. So I need to keep this word Al-Hubbu limited to this area, and I will build on it from here. If you recall, that Al-Ha can be written this way. I can use this shape here to invest in this area on the right. So I got Al-Hubbu filling the space all the way here with the ba, and this way I guaranteed a proper reading of the first word. Next, I have a good space here for the meme and the noon, and I filled Al-Hubbu Mina in this space. I do have an intersection in this area which might create confusion, because if the ba going up and the meme basically got the noon here. The thickness of the noon and the thickness of the ba might cause me some, how can I say, it won't look pretty because the change of shapes is all jammed in one space. But we're going to try this with the big pen. Right now it's just the design phase. At حب من, keep an eye, I've got two alifs up here. حب من شيم, I want the sheen to come over here. And I might actually go for this meme. I've got a space here to fill my dots. Shiem. Alif for al-karam up here. Then I've got the kaf, which I have to make smaller. The ra here. And I might use, you see, if I put the meme here, it might be a bit confusing. So I might use the long one that goes up here and down. Now I've got two shapes of meme which kind of look nice together. I've got the noon, which kind of rotates here and closes this part of the circle. I've got the two alifs, the alif and lam here and the alif and lam here with 3 dots between the sheen. This gives me a nice balance. The kaf again is used to balance this side of the circle. Mina, I could put the dot here. Shiyami, Hubumina. This can be filled with a nice fatha, a thick one, to fill in this space here. So far I'm trying to fill the gaps with the letters themselves rather than the harakat and the fillers, the decorations. So let's try and write this sentence with a thick pen. Again, right now you're just trialing. You can also redesign it again and again until you feel comfortable with it. But for now, I will just start doing the word. If this pen would actually work. It's been ages since I wrote something, so it's going to be tricky. So I'm going to stick to this to make it, or to keep it short, simple. So far you are still in the designing phase. It will take you, you shouldn't be designing something and writing it in one day. You have to take your time. Again, it's just for the sake of the video. I'm making it relatively quick. Yeah. Alif, of course you will have your shape here to guide you. You would scale these things. You leave like 2 points between these two because when you go down with your hat, you will have to go left, then back, and here. So at this phase, you will notice some things that you need to change. And the first thing here would be for me to drag the hat but more to the left. So for me, I will have to put the alif out here so that it closes this shape. I will drop this lam shorter, and this way I will control the hat. We said the meme would come over here, so you could also in the future focus on these lines, the way they build together and give you this smooth transition. You see, this is what we meant with the intersection. Although this is giving me a nice balance between, for example, the area here is nice, the space here is good, here it's a bit too spaced, but I can fill it with a, typically you want just like 1 dot gap or 2 dots gap depending on the letters, but this is wrong. You've somehow merged closely the end of the ba and the change of the movement for the noon. This will create confusion. The reader will basically not know whether you want to connect this to this or is there a letter hidden behind it. So this is what I meant by saying that this will cause us some problems, and you can see that we still have a massive gap down here. Therefore, this will have to change to something better, which if you tried and put it down here, it could work based on the idea of having your shapes read this way, al-hubbu min shiyam al-karam, which what we were talking about earlier of keeping the order of the words correct. We're going to try design this first, do it again and see how it would look like. So shiyam, I'm just trying something here. I'll keep it here because in my mind I kind of erase this meme noon. I realized that you haven't seen this one, but yeah. This is why I was talking about the meme noon. I kind of erased this meme noon and imagine that there is a gap here which will be filled by the dots from the and then I've got the meme going down here which will fill the gap between the noon and whatever coming up of it. I've got the sheen dots here, al-karam. I will drag this down to here to fill in the gap beneath the sheen and the ya and the ba. Al-kaf coming up here, then ra, and I could add another meme here that will fill in the gap here. I still have the gap in this area. So if I wrote this again, you have to write a lot of designs with the Thuluth jelly, and you leave it and you come next day and you try and you keep trying until you get a nice composition that you're happy with. So for this one, I'm going to start, you could also do this. I'm going to start with lam, the word lam ha ba, and leave the alif for a bit. Lam ha this has to be a bit straighter. Far out. So now I've got my guideline. I could write the alif, balance it here. The meme noon we said we're gonna put here, but keep in your mind that you've got the dot for the ba. It's a bit short, it has to be longer. Min shiyam shiyam al-karam. So far we have things to work on. We've got this area over here. Preferably we want something that would go here, go the curve. So I might change this meme into something that would go this way. This is actually prettier. I would also move the meme noon, much probably because this is not 100% circular. I would go back and scale the hat back because this is off scale, and this is gonna give me a more wider hat bat. So I might get away with dragging the bat back here. If I drag the bat back here, I would fit the meme noon in this space. And when I fit it here, this space underneath the bat, and because you can see this gap, you will have a gap between this bat and the meme noon. And this is easy to fill in with the kasra from the meme and your signature, basically here. But moving the meme noon up to this side will give you a nice flow of letters, of words next to each other. It will give you the curve from the meme that will connect with the curve from the noon that will connect with the meme from Shiyam if we change the shape. And al-kalam here, and we could keep this meme this way to go down. So this is what I meant by saying that whatever shape you are choosing right now, it will not be your last shape. I hope this is clear, because I want to show you another composition. For example, I tried this, it is not working, I'm not happy about it, I'm back to the drawing board again. It is totally fine, nothing wrong with it. You go back here, and I was thinking, well, the sheen is kind of not, you can't do much with that letter. You either use it the normal sheen, or you connect it from the top if it was followed by a meme or a hat. But what if I did the following? What if I had two circles, one over here, and we know that we have the sheen that goes long, and I want to connect this circle with the next circle with the sheen. This circle will have the word al-hubbu min, and the next circle will have the continuity of Shiyam and al-karam. And I can put the 3 dots here. Here is another idea, because I found it really hard to create something out of this one. So you can move on exploring other options. If you had to do this for a commission, or you just really want to do it this way, then leave it, get back to it the next day, sleep over it, and just wait until you get something. You don't have to rush things with Thuluth. It is a delicate script, and you have to, how can I say it? Give it time, don't force it, just don't force it. So what I think I will do is I'm going to work on this after the lesson on my free time, create a piece out of it, and actually put it on my Instagram page. I think that would be interesting, right? For you who watch this lesson, I want you to try and experiment with this one. I wonder if YouTube allows you to post pictures underneath in the comment section, but please do that. If you want, send it through to me on my Instagram account to have a look at your let's say ideas. Yeah, so what do you need to focus on in this script again? Scale your letters, do your sentence first, make sure that you balance this with the negative space with the letters rather than the decorations, which I haven't really talked much about on purpose, because if we did this one, let's try and do it on this paper. I wonder if I can't trace it. You could always, or you should always trace when you start to begin with things. Let me show you how tracing works. If I can find a piece of paper, let's try this one. Should work. It will force us to limit ourselves to the circular shape that we've got there. Ta-da! Perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this one just to trace my words. And again, all calligraphers do this, so you should feel comfortable doing it. You're going to start with your words, if your pen is going to work anyway. I have the lamb here. We said that this has to be done properly, more properly than what we did last time. Going back up. And I will connect this with this one here. Going back to this point. And finish my bat here. Then I can control where this alif gum goes. So I can put it up here. This area is all filled. I'm happy with it. This is nice. I can fill it with some decorations, not a big deal. I could even put the dot for the bat here. All right, next we've got the meme noon, which I said I'm going to move somewhere next to the, let's do it actually here. I think this might work. Let us do it here because this will curve this way. So we're going to have the meme and the noon up here. This should touch. Then the noon coming down here, giving me a nice curve to close with a circle, which turned into an ellipse somehow. Let me just do a quick. All right, I like this so far. I could put the dot for the bird here or here. الحب من. There you go, filled it. Another decoration here, and that's it. الحب من شيم. We talked about changing the meme here, which might actually force me to drag the sheen up to here, which will cause confusion. Let us not do that. Let's try and fit al-karam first. This is a good position for al-karam. I'll go up with this and put my calf here. And my ra would come here. Shiam, I will fit in here. This should be interesting. This is very close to this one, but it's all right. Oh, this should be longer. Well, that is something. I could use the meme up here and drop it down there. Min shim. In some cases, you'll find that the dots for the didn't fit here, so they dropped them back down below there. So, without the harakat nor the decorations. You've almost filled in the shape. Forgot a letter, which is the alif or al-karam, which I will put here. Just for the sake of it. I would figure it out later and just put 3 dots on top of each other for the sheen and just move the alif back here. But for the sake of this example, let's just use this to keep it a bit clear. Next, you would do your harakat, and for your harakat, you use a 1/3 size of the pen. The 1/3 size, which I assume is this one. الحب حاء ضمة شد الباء ضمة من. We used the kasra for this. By the way, you use the same color, but I'm using this just to give you an idea. من شيامي. So you've got mina, الحب من شيامي. The kasra for the meme. Min would be a sukun. So you just use this one. Shiyam, kasra here. Ya, fatha, you could put up here. Al-karam, you could put above the kaf here, just to fill in a small gap above it. Al-kara, mi, kasra for the meme would be down here or down here. So after finishing your harakat, start putting some mawazin, some leaves, just to fill in the spaces like we did here. You don't have to overdo it. The rule is basically under the harakat, you could put something to hold the harakat to make it look nice, and overall it is the balance. So right now it is kind of good. You see that there is a gap here. I would put a couple just to balance it. I've got something here. I could put a mizan. Use a mizan. I would use a mizan here instead of this, and just put one here and one here. So it is coming to a balanced piece. The ha, you could use those hats and memes for the hat meme thing to fill in the gaps again. And yeah. By the end of the decorations, you will have minimum, but you can see that the main focus are the letters, and you basically do this like 10 times, scale it, trace it, you keep doing it, keep the rules in your mind, use the letters to fill in the gaps. Do not use the decorations, the mawazin, the waraqat, the harakat. No. Your main focus would be to fill in the gaps with the letters, the thickness of them, and don't force them. I would basically just get rid of this thing and start a new one. I still have a kaf to experiment with. I've got a ra, I've got this meme, I've got heaps of shapes. I could not use this one and just change it into the other one that goes up this way. This one will give me a whole new area of experiment, because now you can see that this shape will easily connect with the ba from down here instead of this shape. So instead of doing this meme, I could just do the other meme, and there you go. I got a smooth transition rather than trying to force this one to balance over the ba. The same thing goes, the ha and ba, you could just drag it down to here and make it straight, like flat, and fill in the area that will be underneath the hat. But overall, this is the 101 for this form of thuluth. Sorry about the long lesson. We barely covered anything in the thuluth jari, the tarakib in general. But yeah, I hope this was a good lesson. This would be the last one for the thuluth. I think next we will move on to, I'm not sure, someone asked for al-Maghribi ages ago, but recently someone asked for shaksata. I will check which one we will do next, and hopefully inshallah I will be more consistent with these lessons. Please like, share and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy Arabic calligraphy. Share this channel with your friends and family if they are interested in learning it. Those of you who really still haven't practiced any form of calligraphy, go back to my channel. You will find some free books for Ruq'a and Diwani. Yep, those first two, and start with those two. They are pretty scripts. They get you across. Once you finish those, move on to more complicated scripts. Anyway, this is for today's lesson. This has been Ammar Awaudi. I hope you enjoyed it, and catch you next time. Goodbye.